All right, we've got a fun one today. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos, shorts, whatever going around social media about the fact that a bunch of different types of candies, or they've discovered that they did a study and they found that a lot of different types of candy have arsenic in them, and not just a little bit, actually fairly high levels. And so I thought to myself, hey, we're a lab. Let's try this and figure out if it's actually a thing. So we got a couple of the candies that they specifically highlighted were Jolly Ranchers. Can you see that, Sawyer? Yeah. And then you want to come in here and, yep. And so we've got Skittles, which is just a random one that my wife picked up. We've got Jolly Ranchers because they specifically noted anything that was 6 or more pieces. And then Nerds are apparently potentially pretty high in arsenic, because they said anything over, I think it's 96 Nerds, that's only 7 grams of Nerds. Nobody, especially a kid, is only eating that small amount of Nerds. The kid's killing the whole daggone box, right? In a lot of instances. And so that is just shy of 100 pieces right there. That is not a lot. That's a lot of Jolly Ranchers. And so our analysts are gonna think that all of this is interesting, but we will check these in just like we would normal samples and send them through the system. They'll digest them and then put them on the ICP, and we'll see what kind of levels we get. But kind of interesting. It'll be really cool to see what comes of it. So Nerds, Skittles. Again, Skittles is a wild card. I have no idea if there's going to be any kind of arsenic in there at all. And then Jolly Ranchers. So on the other side of the analysis, we'll do a little follow-up piece and talk about what we actually found. Skittles, 29 pieces is about 30 grams. So my guess is that's probably about 15 pieces. Again, 7 grams of Nerds is about 100 Nerds, and then 6 of the Jolly Ranchers. So I'm excited. Science, it's gonna be fun. All right, we got our results for the arsenic in Skittles, Nerds, Jolly Ranchers. We got our results back, and a little bit of disappointment, no arsenic. And so I'm saying to myself, what the crap? But here's a weird thing. We actually also ran it for lead, and the candy did have some lead in it. Very, very small amounts. I mean, we're talking about like 1.6 parts per million for, I think maybe it was the Skittles, 0.5 0.5 parts per million, and then 1.2 parts per million of lead. But still, they had detectable lead in them, but no arsenic. So what valuable conclusion can we draw from this? I think it is probably approach highly processed foods with caution. You have no idea where those ingredients came from. There's a good chance that whomever is producing Nerds or Skittles, they probably have several different vendors that they use to source the sugar, that they use to source the whatever they use to color the candy. And so those vendors are going to have different constituents or different ingredients inside of those ingredients that they ultimately sell to those companies that manufacture the candy, and have no idea where they came from, have no idea what's in them. And so sometimes there might be arsenic, sometimes there might not be arsenic, right? So that study in Florida identified relatively high levels of arsenic in Nerds and in Jolly Ranchers, but we found none. They didn't even mention lead, but we found lead. And so there's a high level of variability inside of contamination, or in this particular instance, heavy metals, where these candies are concerned. So it doesn't mean that you need to get rid of all candy from your life, right? From your kids' lives. But I would definitely approach it with caution. I would do a little bit of research. I would be a little skeptical when it comes to these sorts of things, because again, those ingredients being many and varied as far as where they come from, you can't know everything about them. And so as you're choosing your food for yourself, as you're choosing your food for your family, just dig in, be your own advocate, be your family's advocate, and make sure that you're consuming as few highly processed foods as possible, because something that's highly processed obviously is going to have, in most instances, many more ingredients. So one of the cool things that I specifically wanted to mention about our process whenever we're testing solids is we're actually cooking all the water out of any solids that we're analyzing for metals, because we're, in most instances, depending on what you guys send us, we're doing it by dry weight. And so we're basing the concentration on the weight of the solid that we're actually analyzing. And so we want to make sure that there's no water. And so you can see, sorry, I don't know if you can see that or not, some of those in the Skittles, but those little crumbly pieces in there, that's what we have cooked down and then ground up, actually literally with a mortar and pestle. And then we will measure out, usually it's like a 0.5 gram, and then analyze that for metals. So kind of an interesting process, but you're getting a full look at every part of that solid that you send us. We try and create as homogeneous of a mixture as is possible. And then we're digesting that using microwave digestion and assisted with acid, and then throwing that on ICP. So just be intelligently skeptical where your food's concerned. I think that's the main thing, right? Could have arsenic, could have lead, could have mercury, glyphosate even. I don't know. What else? Stop eating candy. Start eating protein. That's
that's a short by itself.
Probably. Man, actually.
There's also a pitch for the shirt, isn't it?
That's right. Actually, protein probably has lead in it too, so you can't get away from it.
Makes you stronger.
Just eat meat. Eat beef, which is where the lead comes from, because that cows are probably eating some of the lead in it. It doesn't matter. Okay, cool.